Good morning to all. This is A. Manikya, lecturer in economics, present working at APRJC Tatipudi. So I welcome you all for today online class. As you know, you have all entered into second year because last year due to COVID cases, government has not been conducted intermediate public exams for first year. Therefore, government is putting lot of efforts for passing all for first years. Otherwise, 3 days back there was a news, if conditions are favorable in the month of October or November, exams for first year is going to conduct. So meantime, as the student of second year, we request you all, please attend classes not for physically but through online, because government of Andhra Pradesh putting lot of efforts provide teaching through online. Even our APR society also doing the same. As the subject teachers, we are doing our best to provide you lot more information with regard to our subject. So as far as our second year economics is concerned, it has nearly 10 chapters like first year. So we are the two resource persons. We have shared the syllabus chapter wise. Myself, I am going to explain second chapter, that is population and human resource development. Population and human resource development. As we know, population and human resource, these two are similar. Human resource, where it comes from? Through population. So we have to study population. What for population is useful for a country, or human resource, what they possess, what they have. For country like India, more population is a burden, or less population in a country is a profit, or optimum population for a country, it is good. So we have to discuss. As we know, India is facing population problem, but there are countries like China, even though population is more than India, but the thing is, in China the human resource management is quite different. They never feel that overpopulation it is a burden. They have giving more training for people, make the people to prepare themselves for the development of a country. So what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of population? Is there any merit and demerits for population? What is population and what is human resource? Why human resources are nowadays it is very useful for a country? So all these things we have to discuss, and later we have to see theory of demographic transition. Theory of demographic transition. Theory of demographic transition. Demography. What is the meaning of demography? That also we have to discuss. Then later in this chapter we have to see what are the birth rates and what are the death rates. Birth rate, death rates. Death rates we have to see how calculated birth rates and how it is calculated death rates. Then sex ratio. What is sex ratio? For every 1000 male, how much women population are there? That is sex ratio. Then later we have to go for infant mortality. Infant mortality rate. Below 5 years, how many children it has been died? So that will be calculated for infant mortality rate. Then later we have to see maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality rate. Then later we have to see literacy. Literacy, that is education. How many people have been literated? The person who knows his name, writing his name and reading his name, he will be called as literate. What is the literacy in India since 1951 to 2011 recent figures? So literacy level. Then we have to see density of population. Density of population. So these things we have to discuss. Density of population per square kilometers, how many people they lives per a square kilometer. In which state the density of population is high, which state density of population is low. That also we have to discuss in this chapter. Then trends in population. Trends in population. Trends means how over a period of time population has been changing. Sometimes death rates are high, sometimes birth rates are high. Meantime there is a migration. Even migration also it plays an important role. Particular period of time whether population is more in a particular country or less. Migration, it is also important concept. Migration means continuous moving of the people from place to place. For example, people moving always from their rural area to urban or cities or other countries. Nowadays, migrated people are more all over the country. So, these are the main things which we are going to discuss in this chapter. So, it is a brief. Now, we have to go for detailed discussion topic wise. Okay. So, the second chapter title is Population and Human Resource Development. So, the study of population and human resource development is very essential in the process of economic development. These two are very essential in the process of economic development. Especially human resources are not only instrument of production. Human resources, they are the instruments of production, not only instrument of the production but also they are the end users. Whatever the production of goods and services, what for goods and services are produced? For consumption purpose. Who will consume the goods and services? As a people. As a people, we have many wants. Human wants are always unlimited. The means are limited. So already in first year we have discussed what are the wants, what are the characteristics of wants. So all the goods and services produced for consumption purpose. Who are the consumers? We the people. So human resources, resource, all the resources, natural resources, human resources, okay, all the natural resources are shaped by or used by human resource. So human resources are very important for a country like India or any country. So what is the first meaning of population? Population means what is the meaning of population? All the inhabitants of a particular place in a geographical boundaries, or the total of individuals occupying an area is called population. The total of individuals occupying an area is called population. Okay, the word population it is Latin. The word population is taken from the Latin word population. It means populus. Means populus. The word population is taken from Latin, which means populus. So what is the definition of population? Is there any definition? Definition of population. Definition of population. Generally people or population, the whole member of people living in a country. The whole member of people living in a country is called population. Population is very essential for the growth of a country. The total population living in a country is called population. Population may be different ages. Population may be different ages. 0 to 5, 6 to 15, 16 to 35, and 36 to 50, and again 51 to 70, 71 to 90. So these are the different age groups, 0 to 5. So that is children who stay at home generally are Anganwadi schools. Okay, and 6 to 15, they are the students who generally attend schools. Okay, school education children. And 16 to 35, that is intermediate, bachelor degree, or universities studies, or other professional studies. And 36 to 50, they are the real workforce of the country. And 51 to 70, they are also very active people, but old age people will be high in the 51 to 70s. And 71 to 90, they become old. They are the dependent people. So this is all of population living in a country is called population. Population means it is a geographical area, people who lives in a specified area. So this is different categories of population. Then coming to what are the merits and demerits, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of population. Advantages of population. Is there any advantage for the population of any country? Yes, definitely. Population provides workforce for the production of goods and services. They are the workforce. You see, agriculture sector, people engaged different agricultural activities. They are the workforce. Even industries, certain people they are working in industries. Even in service sector, certain people they are engaged in different service or rendering their services. So they are the workforce for the production of goods and services. First point. Then second one is they are the market for the goods and services. They are the market for the products that are produced. What for goods and services are produced and bring to the market? For people's purpose, for our sake. We are consuming goods and services. We are purchasing goods and services for our satisfaction. So therefore, population also they are the market for the produced goods and services. And third one is population promotes innovations and ideas. Workforce, they are the market, and people they have people they have innovations and innovations and ideas. So today, whatever the scientific advancement which has been taking place, not only in India, even in developed countries, why science it has been increasing day by day. Country like China, Japan, America, even Israel, other countries, France and Germany, Russia, because people they have very good ideas and innovations. Yesterday newspaper if you read, per 1 hour, in 1 hour nearly 600 kilometers a train will go. China has been invented. Per hour 600 kilometers. It is the fastest train which was discovered in China. So this is possible through innovations and ideas. People they have very good ideas. Ideas and innovations come from proper education only. If you are properly being educated, your mentality, your attitude, your mindset will work in good manner, so that ideas and innovations will contribute for the economic development of a particular country. So lastly we have to see population have a division of labor and also specialization. So according to Adam Smith, he has first given the concept of division of labor. He is the pioneer of division of labor. So according to him, people they have education. After getting education, they may equipped with different skills. According to their skills, work will be given. If I am less educated, less knowledge, few clerical jobs I have to suitable. If you are more knowledge, some medium jobs, semi jobs it may be provided. If you are highly skilled person, technical knowledge if you have, you will go for banking jobs and computer jobs, software and hardware, like that. So according to skills, division of labor can be possible. If you don't have any knowledge, education, simply you have to engage in agriculture sector. If you have little skills and knowledge, you will be engaged in industrial works. If you are highly qualified and equipped with technology, you will be go for technical site. So these are the division of labor and specialization. Some people they have very specialized. Say for example, CEO of Google, that is Sundar Pichai. Though he is an Indian from Tamil Nadu, but he has occupied the very important position of CEO of Google. How it can be possible? Because of specialization. And Satya Nadella, who is the chairman of some Apple, Microsoft, he is the CEO. So how they have occupied that position? Because of specialization, ideas, innovations. All these things can be possible through proper education. So these are the merits of population. They have workforce, and also population they are the very good market for produce goods and services, and they have ideas, they have innovations, and also people, they have division of labor and specialization. At the same time, population, for the population also sometimes it is a burden, some disadvantages also there, some demerits also there. What are the demerits? What are the disadvantages? Disadvantages of population. Sometimes population it is very advantage, sometimes population also sometimes it is very disadvantages. First one is population put pressure on means of subsistence. More population creates more problems. Subsistence problems will be there. For growing population, every need will be provided, every facilities can be provided. More population creates more problem. Land scarcity will be there, house sites will be scarcity will be there, and construction of more schools, more hospitals, more roads, all those things, they need many things. If population grows in a more, then again population leads to unemployment if there is no proper employment facilities. Population also pressure on subsistence. Pressure on subsistence. కనీస అవసరాల మీద ఎక్కువ ఒత్తిడి అనేది వస్తుందన్నమాట. దెన్ unemployment. Unemployment problem will be there. Unemployment problem will be there. How unemployment will be increased if there is no creation of jobs? So nowadays there is a problem of unemployment. More people, they are losing jobs. Many companies, many institutions, especially in private sector, they are reducing the employees because of COVID. Because of COVID-19. So unemployment problem nowadays, it is a increasing in a alarming situation. So government has to reduce unemployment problem by providing more jobs for rural youth and urban youth. And third one is more population put pressure on social and economic overhead. Put pressure. Put pressure on social and economic overhead. Put pressure on social and economic overhead capital. So that is more hospitals will be constructed, more schools, more colleges, more hospitals, and more roads, providing house sites. All these things can be increased by government. Social and economic, banking sectors also it has to be extended. Police department, it has to be established, law and order, and all those things can be provided by government if population are more. Then again population also sometimes it resulted increasing consumption, increasing consumption, reducing savings, and capital formation. Sometimes population it has lead to increasing consumption. Whatever the incomes, but consumption will be higher. If I don't have money during last month, but I have to purchase many things by taking loan from others or go for debt from others. I have to purchase because I have to survive. So consumption level will be increased if more population increases in a family. In a family, more people are there. The family head, he has to fulfill all the family members' needs. If he has enough money, he can fulfill all their members' wants. If he don't have sufficient money, he cannot fulfill all their needs. Same as even in state of Andhra Pradesh also, state if it has more money or more financial resources, it can spend more money for the welfare of the people. Otherwise, government cannot spend more money on people. Consumption will be increased. Whatever the incomes, but consumption will be higher. And also, more population, it reduces the savings and capital formation. Savings also, it has been reduced. Why savings it has been reduced? Because of whatever the incomes comes to a family, it has go for consumption. When it comes to the savings, there is no scope of savings. If there is no savings, there is no future capital. Next day, nobody come forward to spend on capital. Capital is very important. Capital means it is in the form of money or it is in the form of buildings, machines, tools which can be useful for future purpose. Capital means more capital is essential for the production of goods and services, not for the present generation, even for future generation. So, after explaining this, what is population and what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of population, there are certain advantages are there. Population, if it is increasing, at the same times, more population it lead to more problems, put pressure on subsistence and also unemployment problem, and again put pressure on more economic and social overhead capital, and finally we have to see increasing the consumption and reducing the savings and capital formation. Okay, so this is all about population and human resource development, human resource, and what are the population, what are the advantages of population and what are the disadvantages of population. So far we have discussed only introduction part. Now it is very important concept, that is theory of demographic transition. Theory of demographic transition. It is very, very important for 5 marks. Theory of demographic transition. Theory of demographic transition. So demography. What is the meaning of demography? Let me theory of demography. Theory of demographic transition. Demography means, what is the meaning of demography? Demography means population, the study of population. Study of demography means it is nothing but study of population. How population has been changing over a period of time. How birth rates and death rates taking place. What are the different stages of population? In early stage, in every country, generally population will be high because birth rates and death rates will be high. And if we classify the different stages of population, that is first stage, second stage and third stage. In the beginning, generally every economy if we study, or in Indian economy if we study, generally in the first stage, changing of population according to the theory of demographic transition in a country pass through different stages. Stages of population. Stages of population. First stage. If we see the first stage, we can give the years, that is 1891 to 1921. If we see in this stage, generally the country is said to be backward or underdeveloped. There is no development of industries. There is no scope of trade. Generally in this stage, the country will be characterized by an agrarian economy, village economy, and coexistence of high birth rates and high death rates. So in this stage, people generally they have old beliefs and superstitions and faiths. Not only that, they have very much interested to have more family members in a family. It is an asset. They did not consider it is a liability, but it is an asset. More number in a family, they gives more income of a family. And people, they have to have more large families. That is, joint family system will be there in the first stage. There is a lot of illiteracy and a lot of health problems. There is no advancement of medical facilities. So due to that, high birth rates and high death rates will be there. So if time permits, we will discuss in another class. Okay, thank you all.